Right, hello everyone. So, like I said before, I got a new car. The K is gone, and this is my car now. A 1997 Mazda 323F 1.8 litre executive. These cars have always been something that I've wanted to own. I've wanted one for more than 3 years. It took a lot of searching, but I finally found one. This car is brilliant. Let me just show you. First off, you got the way it looks. I mean, just look at that front end. You're really unique when it comes to how cars look now. You know, most cars look very similar to each other nowadays. Here's probably my favourite part. Frameless doors. Inside, you sit very nice and low. You've got a very sporty driving position. You've got a very nice, very nice smooth gearbox. The throw is quite long, but I've gotten used to it now. You've got lots of storage space. I mean, look, you've got your centre armrest here. You've got a massive glove box here. And you've got a small holder for your sunglasses. This one has an electric sunroof. Everything on this car works and it's 23 years old. My one has only done 59,000 miles. And if we open the back, look at that. Look how much legroom you've got. Mind you, this seat is set for me. I am 6 foot, and look, I very comfortably fit. I've only got a small gripe of headroom because of the sloping roofline. But apart from that, you know, since it's my car, I don't need to worry about that. And these seats are very comfortable, both front and rear. Being an old Japanese car, you've got 2 latches here in the footwell. This is for your fuel filler cap, that is for your boot. Speaking of which, look at the amount of room you've got in there. Think about it, how much could you actually fit in there? Plus, these the rear seats fold forward. You've got 2 buttons here, one there. The other one, all you do is press them in, like that, and you push it forward and it unfolds. And it's simple as that. And underneath you get a space saver as standard. And as a very interesting point, if you look here, the rear wiper has a separate washer fluid reservoir, something you don't really see in any cars today. In these cars you had 3 engine choices. The base model was the 1.5 litre Z5 with 88 brake horsepower. And then you have this, the 1.8 litre BP ZE engine. And for those of you who are fans of Mazda or Japanese cars, you will know that this is the exact same engine that was put in the Mark 1 or NA MX-5. However, in this car it's a bit detuned, it's a bit strange. In the MX-5 these engines made 130 brake horsepower. In this it makes 115, and I don't know what the point of that was, but being the BP, you do have your vacuum actuated VIX actuator, and yes, it works on this car because it's been decently maintained. And the last engine option on these cars was the 2 litre KFDE V6. I wanted one of those, but they are just nigh on impossible to find. So the 1.8's more than good for me. It goes when I need it to go, and if I try hard enough, I can easily get it above 40 miles per gallon. Now, some of you might be wondering what the Mpg figures are for this car, so here goes. Combined, it's 35. These are not economical cars when you really think about it, but then again, it's from 1997. So what do you expect? City, I've never found an official figure, but I would estimate it somewhere around 24 or 25. Extra urban, if you try hard enough, you're over 40. But that's not why I bought this car. I bought it because it's got a very nice interior, it's extremely comfortable, and when you plant your foot, it makes a great noise. Right, now I'm going to attempt, with my limited, equipment, to take you for a drive in this car. Right, so, driving the 323. What's it like? Well, the steering is nice and direct. You have pretty good visibility. When you plant your foot, the car does go. But at the moment we're in town, so I can't show you that. What else? In terms of its ride, it rides nicely. It's got a very smooth ride, except when you hit a bump, the suspension doesn't do a perfect job of ironing out the bumps. It's kind of because the car sits lower and it was designed with some sporty aspirations. So when you go over a bump, it doesn't absorb it as well as you'd hope for in a regular car. But once you get up to speed, it's actually a very nice cruiser. It's on the motorway, this car just feels like it's floating above the asphalt. It feels like a car that's much bigger than it really is. Because in terms of size, this car is around the same as a Ford Focus. It's just a normal compact. And yet, when you're on the motorway and you're cruising, it feels like a much bigger car. Right, so we're now on a B road. I'm going to wait to see if it's clear, and we're going to give it some noise so you can hear this engine when it's at high RPM. Right, so 7,000 RPM. What's better than that? Not the exhaust heat shield rattling, that's for sure. That's for sure, but life is very good above 7,000 RPM. That's a rattle that I need to get sorted actually, but it's nothing major. It's just when the exhaust heats up, the heat shield rattles against a part of the, I think it's the mid pipe. But you can hear it definitely sounds like the BP. Well, mostly because it is the BP. But this car, if you want to drive it calmly, you know, it'll do that happily all day long. But if you want to plant your foot, it will happily comply with that as well. That's something I really like about this car. It's going to sound kind of stupid because this isn't that fast of a car really when you think about it. But it's got a really nice sort of Jekyll and Hyde character to it because, you know, yes, it's a rare car. Yes, it's a 90s Mazda. And yes, it might look quite aggressive from the way, you know, from how low the car looks and how low it's sat for standard suspension. But when you're actually just cruising, it is just a regular family car. But then, let's say, you know, let's say that you had a bad day. You go on a B road because you want to relieve some stress. Well, this car will happily help you, mostly because it does have that fantastic engine. And that's something that I kind of miss about old Mazdas. The way that they made these cars, okay, it's gonna sound I'm gonna sound like I have rose tinted glasses on, which I probably do since I bought this car, but they just don't make cars like this anymore. You know, you've got these fantastically bolstered seats, which are standard. You've got a very nice engine that is happy to tack up and down all day long. You've got a, what was it? You've got a decent ride, and when you're on the motorway, it's extremely smooth. At 70 miles an hour in 5th gear, this car sits at just over 3,000 RPM, but it's not too noisy, especially for a Japanese car, because a big complaint for people with Japanese cars from this kind of era is that they weren't really, they didn't have too much sound deadening. This one has a decent amount, I guess, but either way, on the motorway it's a very nice, civilized car, and on the B roads, when you rev it, it sounds fantastic because you can go to about 7,300 RPM from standard. And the plan with this car, just before I close off this video, the plan with this car is to modify it. I want to make this one of, because I know there's not many of these around anymore, I want to make this one of the most unique 323s left on the road. I checked on how many left, you know, how many left.co.uk, how many of these 323s in this trim level, so the 1.8 litre executive manual, are left. This car is one of 83. This is one of 83 still driving in the UK. So the plan of this car, first I want to get the timing belt kit changed because it's not written in the records, and I might be getting that done next week Saturday, so that's good. Then we are going to do suspension, wheels and tyres, because that I think is, you know, quite an important aspect. So we're going to be probably getting some nice sporty tyres, some nice rims, and FK High Sport coilovers, because I do not feel like spending £900 on a set of D2 coils, even though they're nice. And then after that, catback exhaust, and then when the budget is right and my insurance comes down a bit, I want to turbocharge this car. It's the BP, it will take it. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, hope you enjoyed, and there will be more content of this car to come in the future. Until then, take care, and I'll be enjoying myself in this brilliant car. Like I am right now, quite frankly.